As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, 5 killed in bloody midday operation in Jacks Hill, St. Andrew this afternoon.
They heard rounds of shots. Some of them sound like they connect. This is Jacks Hill. Nothing like this has ever occurred before. It is a bit shocking.
JFJ says the country may have to look at establishing a committee to review how it imposes consecutive versus concurrent sentencing.
PNP councillor Mario Mitchell unrepentant about a series of derogatory comments he posted online.
Marlene Malahoo Fort rejects as misleading suggestion that she indicated that the JLP government intends to clamp down on civil servants.
PNP says Darrell Vaz should withdraw his comments suggesting that a shooting near a JLP meeting in central Kingston last night was politically motivated.
In news from the rest of the world, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service says former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's name has not been placed on the Interpol watch list.
UK and 27 other nations condemn Israel over inhumane killing of Gaza civilians seeking aid.
In headline sports, Jamaica defeats Leeward Islands in latest West Indies Rising Stars encounter in St. Kitts.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, JLP supporters took cover Sunday evening during a meeting in central Kingston after gunshots rang out in the vicinity of the gathering. Was it politically motivated or not? PNP caretaker for Kingston Central, retired Senior Superintendent Steve McGregor, and later MP for Central Kingston, Donovan Williams, will join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, what should the punishment be for persons guilty of stoning JUTC buses? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, we'll have a rebroadcast of Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's speech at Anchovy High School at his Area Council 4 of the JLP.
At 7, the founder of KRV, Andrew Donahue, will join us to talk about their vision.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide RadioJM.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, July 21, 2025.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. An air of disbelief hangs over the upscale community of Jacks Hill in St. Andrew following a deadly shooting incident this afternoon. 5 men were shot and killed in an alleged confrontation with the police. Sources say the operation was intelligence-led and carried out by members of the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, CTOC. 4 firearms were reportedly seized at the scene. However, it's believed that one gunman armed with a rifle managed to escape during the operation. According to residents, the peace was shattered just after midday by a barrage of heavy gunfire. The police have not yet issued an official statement on the incident. One resident who says she has lived in the area for 19 years and requested anonymity says she had never experienced anything like this in the community.
I heard multiple shots, rounds of shots, and based off my knowledge, some of them sound like they connect. This is Jackshill, community of Jackshill. Nothing like this has ever occurred before. Nothing of this sort has ever transpired here in this community. It is a bit shocking.
Jackshill resident. Meanwhile, a 72-year-old gardener who was nearby at the time says he was forced to take cover as the gunshots rang out.
When I hear the noise and when I look, because some mango, I go pick up, and when I look, I just hear blah, 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 and I have to run. Really have to run like thief. Then the boss come and say the block off here. So that's why I'm come out here now. Because I see movements, I see it look like a police. Working here for about 26 years. First, this is something like this. Because when we hear a gunshot, I say upscale community it is. So this is a normal thing. So it have to be police or something. But it's very scary. To be honest, very, very scary. And I could get killed with these stray bullets.
The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, has launched a probe.
Meanwhile, the number of people killed by the security forces since the start of the year has jumped to 184. That's according to the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM. The figure is 101 more than the 83 individuals killed up to July 21 last year. It represents a 121% increase in police fatal shootings when compared to the similar period last year. So far, 22 have been reported in July alone. This is compared to the 15 killed by the police in July last year. The police killing of 5 men on Monday in Jackshill, St. Andrew is the latest to be reported this year. INDECOM says only 39 members of the JCF have been charged within the 1-year period following their investigations.
Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice JFJ Michael Jackson says the country may have to look at establishing a committee to review how it imposes consecutive versus concurrent sentencing. She was reacting to a case involving a father who was sentenced to 33 years for raping, trafficking, and child pornography involving his daughter and stepdaughter.
While the organization is certainly not in support of excessive mandatory minimum, because I don't want to be misunderstood, we have called for, when we made our recommendation to the Joint Select Committee reviewing the Offence Against the Persons Act, the 3 pieces of legislation speaking to mandatory minimum, that we should have established perhaps a sentencing commission that would look at how sentences are imposed, and perhaps it's time for us to look at how we utilize consecutive versus concurrent sentencing in our country. I think it's important.
The St. Catherine man, a taxi driver, pleaded guilty to the heinous offences in February this year. He was sentenced to a combined 100 years in the Home Circuit Court last Tuesday, but the sentences will run concurrently. This means the taxi driver will serve only the longest single sentence of 33 years and 8 months before becoming eligible for parole. This comes amid news of an increase in rape crimes against children in St. Catherine and other parishes. Ms. Jackson is urging Jamaicans to break the culture of silence and report such incidents.
Most of the rape incidents that occur, it's within the family and a close family member. And I think we have to look within, do some introspection on how we view rape, because far too many family members are aware of somebody in their family who just not too right. And we keep silent. And I tell you, JFJ, we have done research, we have engaged the community, and the attitude that we have where we label the girl child as bad. We need to look within, and we need to utilize the 211 number a little bit more, where it is okay to inform when you see something of concern.
Michael Jackson, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice. She was speaking on the weekly JFJ-produced show Let's Talk Justice, aired on Nationwide 90 FM on Mondays. Incidents of rape and sexual assault involving minors can be made through Sisoka's WhatsApp at 876-224-5352. You can also call the 211 helpline, Crime Stop at 311, the police at 119, or visit the nearest police station. Councillor for the Belfield Division in central Manchester, the PNP's Mario Mitchell, is unrepentant about a series of derogatory comments he posted online. The comments were in response to questions about a recently paved stretch of road in his division. In a series of replies to tweets from his account, Mitchell defended the work done on the Bushmount Road in Banana Ground. Well, we caution our listeners and viewers that you may find some of the comments offensive. Mahiri Stewart reports.
At 9:14 Saturday night, Mitchell's account posted a photo of a freshly paved roadway with the caption, "New road number 14 since elected." Several users replied to the post, asking about the lack of drains and sidewalks, the apparent thinness of the asphalt, and the unsealed edges. One user asked, quote, "So where are the drains?" End quote. With laughing emojis, the account replied, quote, "Check your mom. Like her, they run deep and wide and to everyone." End quote. Another user commented, quote, "2 weeks and all that gone. Very poorly done." End quote. To which the account replied, quote, "Like your roof." End quote. To the question, quote, "Why is the asphalt so thin?" End quote. Mitchell's account posted, quote, "Go buy tape and take it up with Jesus." End quote. Yet another user posted, quote, "Typical comrade, chaka chaka slapdash work." End quote. The response, quote, "Like your mom bed. I guess you know what to look for and expect." End quote. At 8:50 Sunday morning, Mitchell's account posted another photo of the paved road, this time juxtaposed against one taken before the work was done. The caption read, quote, "Just because the corruption bunch JLP having a meltdown, I'ma post twice." End quote. It was followed by a laughing with tears emoji. Some users took the councillor to task over his comments. One said, quote, "This comment is very disgraceful and you're a family man and representative of the people." End quote. Another said, quote, "Don't forget that it's our tax money that pays you. As an elected official, your utterances are nothing short of disgraceful." End quote. But Mitchell appears unfazed. At 10:42 Monday morning, his account displayed a new post. Quote, "Running on me and think I'm gonna stay quiet? You have next guest coming. My freedom of speech right will ensure you get a healthy and hearty SYM." End quote. SYM is the shortened form of a 3-word slur that ends with mother. Mitchell is in his 3rd term as councillor, having first won and secured the division for the PNP in 2016. His profile on X describes him as a father, family man, and philanthropist. Several calls to Mitchell's phone on Monday went unanswered. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahoo Fort is rejecting a Gleaner report suggesting the JLP government plans to target civil servants with personal political preferences. She's responding to a Jamaica Gleaner article published online today, July 21, under the headline JLP Government to Clamp Down on Politically Driven Civil Servants. But Minister Malahoo Fort says the report doesn't accurately reflect her statements. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
According to the Gleaner article, while addressing the JLP's Area Council 4 meeting at the Anchovy High School in St. James on Sunday, Minister Marlene Malahoo Fort pointed to reports of public servants being partisan in the execution of their duties. The article continued, saying the minister stated that based on which party was in power, segments of the public service were either unwilling to do their jobs properly or felt secure enough in their positions to underperform. The newspaper said Minister Marlene Malahoo Fort told labourers at the meeting that during the JLP's next term, the Holness administration would ensure that the government's internal clients are well served and the public and civil servants would better serve the people. However, in responding to the newspaper article on Monday, the Legal Affairs Minister says any suggestion that the government is seeking to clamp down on or discriminate against civil servants is a gross misrepresentation of her remarks. The minister says she did not indicate any such move, and this is absolutely not the intention of the government.
My comments were centered on upholding the long-established principle that the public service must be politically neutral. It must be professional and it must be focused on delivering quality service to the people of Jamaica. This is essential for ensuring that all Jamaicans, regardless of political affiliation, receive fair and equitable service, receive efficient service from their government.
She points to the government's record of supporting civil servants through significant investments, including what she described as the largest public sector compensation package in Jamaica's history.
The Jamaica Labour Party government has also made the largest investment in capacity building and skills training through many initiatives like the Marcus Garvey postgraduate scholarships. And if you check the numerous free online courses. You will see the investment. Many regard what has been done so far as a transformational investment, which continues to improve the livelihoods of public sector workers.
Mrs. Malahoo Ford adds that she has the utmost respect for civil servants, many of whom work under challenging circumstances to keep the machinery of the government running smoothly. She says her remarks were never intended to cast aspersions on their professionalism.
There is more work to be done. And so we put on notice that the work we recognize that remains to be done will be done. And it will be done to ensure that all who work in government, who are regarded as the internal clients of government, are fairly and properly treated, so that in turn they can fairly and properly treat those who are served by government, the external clients of government.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, JLP General Secretary Dr. Horace Chang says the party is committed to fair and just treatment of all members of the labor force in Jamaica. He says there's absolutely no intention to target any member of the civil service. Dr. Chang says it must be noted that it is in the JLP's DNA to pursue measures that uplift Jamaicans, including members of civil service. It says this is while creating an environment that is conducive to their growth, development, and self-actualization. Dr. Chang welcomed clarification from Constitutional Affairs Minister Marlene Malahoo Fort of her remarks made on Sunday, July 20, 2025. Dr. Chang says Minister Malahoo Fort's affirmation in her statement that the government of the JLP will not pursue a policy of victimizing any civil servant accurately reflects the position of the party. He says the JLP was founded in 1943 with a strong commitment to protecting the dignity and rights of the members of the labor force in Jamaica, including the poor and dispossessed.
You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
It's IQ Optical's sizzling summer sale. For this month only, get 50% off lenses when you purchase a frame. Kids get free lenses with a purchase of a frame. Make the intelligent choice with IQ Optical. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is
17 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 in Montego Bay.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for ground transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group? Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you.
Continuing the news, reckless and irresponsible. That's how the PNP is describing comments made by the JLP's Darrell Vaz following sounds of gunfire in the vicinity of a party meeting in central Kingston on Sunday. Following the disruption, the senior JLP MP suggested that the incident was politically motivated.
I see some laborites that go down the road and them say, boss, nobody go up there, no. The man, them a fire up a whole heap of shot. They say, oh, when I come close, I see a police car. I say, boss, be careful. I say, don't worry yourself, man. Let me tell you something. They are so desperate, Desmond, that they are prepared to do anything. But we not afraid of gunshot. No time at all. But it is a sign and a signal. Take sleep and mark death.
The JLP's Darrell Vaz, West Portland MP. The police have since stated that the shooting incident was not politically linked. In a release on Monday, the PNP says Mr. Vaz's premature comments were not only dangerous but also inflammatory. PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell says the senior JLP member should withdraw the comments, which have been referred to the Office of the Political Ombudsman.
We've reported Minister Vaz to the Political Ombudsman. His conduct breaches standards of peace and fairness. It undermines our democracy. We demand Minister Vaz retract his comments immediately and reflect on his repeated use of threatening gestures. To all leaders, exercise integrity. The PNP remains committed to peaceful politics. We will protect Jamaica from fear-mongering and division.
That is the PNP's General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service says former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's name has not been placed on the Interpol watch list. This revelation comes just hours after Dr. Rowley stated that he was advised that he was on the list. Khalesia Wright reports.
Dr. Keith Rowley says he got suspicious when he had delays at the airport in Antigua on separate occasions. According to him, he did his own investigation on the matter on his arrival back in the Twin Island Republic.
I continued to travel on the Twin Island Tobago. I got back home somehow, and I made the necessary investigations through Caribbean. And my colleagues, my friends in Caribbean at that time knew it very good. And it was confirmed to me then that I was on Interpol. And the issues that arose in Antigua are as a result of Antigua police responding to Interpol and Interpol's interest in me.
Dr. Rowley has demanded an explanation from the Commissioner of Police and the Attorney General.
It has to be that there are questions to be answered here to me and to the public by the Commissioner of Police as to whether in fact I am, as a former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, having left office 2 months ago, enjoying my retirement, moving forward into whatever years I have left. What is it I have done in this country to have put me under the rubric of criminal and moving from one CARICOM nation in Trinidad and Tobago to Antigua on my way to Montserrat, which would be known to the authorities here if they check the correct database, which is available to them, that I am deemed to be in the category of fugitive so that I have to be stopped by Antigua immigration.
But in a release on Monday, the TTPS says Dr. Rowley's name had not been placed on an Interpol watch list. The police says Dr. Rowley calling for an explanation from the Commissioner of Police suggests that his placement was not erroneous but rather a calculated attempt to defame him on the international stage. The TTPS says with this in mind, it promptly initiated a review of internal systems. It says comprehensive checks were conducted across Interpol's secure databases, which prove that Dr. Rowley is not listed on their watch list or international notice. An Interpol watch list is one that has names of persons wanted by countries or international organizations for major crimes. The TTPS says it will continue to provide clear factual updates as the matter develops. Khalesia Wright for Nationwide News.
The UK and 27 other countries have called for an immediate end to the war in Gaza. In a statement on Monday, the countries condemned the killing of hundreds of Gazans trying to get food from Israel's aid operations. The countries include Australia, Belgium, Canada, Finland, Italy, Japan, Norway, Spain, and others. They note that the suffering of civilians in Gaza has reached new depths. They further condemned the feeding of aid to those impacted by the war. The countries are calling for Israel to lift restrictions on the flow of aid and enable the UN and humanitarian NGOs to do their work safely. However, Israel rejected the united call as disconnected from reality. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry said more than 100 Palestinians were killed by Israeli fire while waiting for food over the weekend. 19 others died of malnutrition. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy announced an extra £40 million for humanitarian assistance in Gaza this year.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour: 5 killed in bloody midday operation in Jacks Hill, St. Andrew.
JFJ says the country may have to look at establishing a committee to review how it imposes consecutive versus concurrent sentencing.
PNP says Darrell Vaz should withdraw his comments suggesting that a shooting near a JLP meeting in central Kingston last night was politically motivated. I'm Roby Ann Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Tired of waiting for your ride? Want safety and peace of mind on every journey? Amber On Time is here! With verified drivers, real-time vehicle tracking, and panic button with armed security response, your safety is our priority. Reliable service, easy booking, premium experience, it's all just a tap away. Download Amber On Time today!
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica ended the West Indies Rising Stars Under-19 men's cricket tournament on a winning note. They beat the Leeward Islands by 1 wicket at St. Paul's Sports Complex in St. Kitts. On Monday, the Leewards batted first. They posted 149 in 36 overs. DeAndre Drew led the way with 24 against 2-wicket performances from Rashawn McKenzie, Tamari Redwood and Raven Morgan. Jamaica replied with 150 for 9 in 40 overs. Tyreek Brand, 41, and David Duhar, 39, made most runs. Micah McKenzie bagged 4 for 35, bowling for the Leewards, and Amori Jones, 3 for 25. USA 1 captured the title after beating the Windward Islands by 4 wickets at Conaree. 3 African countries will apply to become associate members of the International Cricket Council ICC later this year. Burkina Faso, Mauritius and Burundi will all be planning to submit the relevant paperwork with the ICC Membership Committee before December's deadline. The trio had hoped to be considered by the governing body at this year's ICC annual general meeting. However, none of the 3 were able to progress further with their applications due to various administrative queries raised by the ICC. At last weekend's AGM in Singapore, the ICC increased their total number of members to 110 after Zambia and Timor-Leste were both given associate status. Zambia were expelled by the ICC in 2021 for problems relating to their governance, but have now been readmitted. The ICC said after their AGM that USA Cricket will, quote, remain on notice amid ongoing membership compliance concerns. USA Cricket was at serious risk of being suspended by ICC, which would have resulted in a cut to central funding and the United States' men's and women's sides barred from ICC tournaments. Vice President of the J3s, Ian Forbes, believes the administration and by extension the country's track and field lovers can breathe a sigh of relief for now, as the men's 4x100 meters team has put itself in a very good position to compete at the World Championships. On Saturday at the London Diamond League, the team put itself in position number 15, where only 16 can compete in September. But before the deadline, the cutoff date on August 24, the Jamaicans can just hope that nobody runs faster than the 37.80 they did in London on Saturday.
We were disappointed earlier that we had failed to qualify at the World Relays due to circumstances which were beyond our control. We had an injury, and that pretty much caused us non-qualification at that time. So we're very elated that this group of athletes would have gone there, acquitted themselves pretty well, ran a pretty decent time.
Jamaica's quartet of Rohan Watson, Oblique Seville, Kadrian Golston, and Kishane Thompson in that order, where they clocked 37.80. The top 14 teams have already been locked in from the World Relays in China this year. So the next two fastest teams after that must get to the cutoff date of August 24 in positions to qualify. Forbes suggests that while Jamaica is in a good spot, they are keeping a keen eye on proceedings.
Still not home and dry yet, but based on who we know have not qualified, I think they will probably find it challenging to run a time as fast as we did on the weekend in London. But we won't be resting on our laurels, and if there's an opportunity for us to put it together again, to even try to get a faster time, we'll certainly try to do it.
That's Jamaica. That's our first vice president of the J3As, Ian Forbes. Andrew Peart, Rudolph Speed, Maren Gordon, and Theodore Whitmore are 4 local coaches currently taking part in the TTFA CONCACAF Pro License Coaching Certification course being held in TNT. The course is being led by Chief Football Officer of Football Association of Wales, David Adams. Andrew Peart, who coaches at the schoolboy level with Glenmuir, is also the national youth coach and head of the Jamaica Coaching School. And he says the course allows the quartet to be amongst the elite coaches in the region.
It is very important because as you coach, you have to try to be at that cutting edge of what's new, what's modern, what are the current trends. Even at that level, try to pretty much pioneer new trends at that level. So it's very important that we have Jamaican coaches there.
Yeah, and Peart says in the long run, what they're doing in Trinidad will be to the benefit of the growth and development of football in the country.
If you then have those coaches working in the club environments to get the players better, then the players become more marketable. They move overseas. They move overseas to very good markets. They come back as better national players. Once they come back as better national players, then your national team starts to improve. You have younger players now start to role model their behaviors and say, okay, that player went out early. I want to do the same.
That's Andrew Peart, and that will do it for sports at the moment. We're going to be back door 6:05 with much, much more.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
5:32.
From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocherias to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's Airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
30 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 27 in the western city, Montego Bay.
In Jamaica, your rights are protected by our Constitution. From the right to education to freedom of expression, every citizen deserves respect and dignity. But remember, with rights come responsibilities. Let's uplift and respect each other and stand against injustice. Together, we can make Jamaica a better place for ourselves and future generations. Know your rights. Embrace your responsibilities. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
I use the RADA app to help source my seeds and also my seedlings.
Me run my farm as a business, so I use the app for weather forecast and crop planning.
When me need me extension officer, I just book and visit on the app. Quick time she reach.
We check pest alert every morning. Me now make her mash up my grub.
Real farmers, real support, real easy. Crop RADA and farm smarter. Get the mobile app on Android and iOS.
If a hurricane mash up your house tomorrow, would your insurance fully cover it? Many Jamaicans are underinsured and don't even know it. One hurricane, and they could be paying millions out of pocket. BCIC's free property valuation tool is here to help everyone update their home's rebuilding cost. Plus, when you update your sum insured with BCIC, you'll get $5 million in free contents insurance and up to 12 months to pay. Visit bciconline.com.
Tell them cut the plastic.
See, our one country we have, and we have to preserve it for future generation. The government had to feed them part with phase 4 of the ban on single-use plastic. That mean me won't get me lunch in a plastic container, and me so I stop use certain cosmetic personal care items. Boy, big changes. But me want me pick them for enjoy this country, so me go all in a phase 4. Support the ban.
A message from the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
Ready for a refresh? The hottest sale of the summer is now on at Active Home Center. From now until Saturday, August 2nd, get up to 30% off selected living, dining, and bedroom furniture, plus enjoy up to 10% off lighting and fans to keep your home cool and bright. It's the summer to save big and upgrade every room. But hurry, these deals won't last. Active Home Center, more savings, more choices. Conditions apply.
And vibes, and through it all there's a glowing side. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
This July, the world turns to Jamaica
for the Caribbean Investment Forum, the region's premier investment event.
From July 29 to 31, the Montego Bay Convention Center comes alive
with global thought leaders, exclusive investment opportunities, high-impact deal-making sessions.
Are you ready to invest in the Caribbean's future? Book now at CaribbeanInvestmentForum.com.
Let's shape a smart, green, connected Caribbean. July 29 to 31, Montego Bay. Powered by Caribbean Export, Government of Jamaica, Jampro, EU, CARICOM, Republic Bank, and IDB.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell. I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we are all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Sir Hughes. How was your day?
Good. And happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you so much.
I saw where your colleagues took care of you today.
They did right by me today, yes.
Oh, they did right.
On my 25th birthday.
Siobhan?
Yes.
You must not lie.
I'm forever 25.
You've been
Mr.
telling
Hughes.
me that you're 25 for the last about 12, 13 years?
Yes, I'm forever 25. That's where my age is.
So you're actually about 37.
25 thereabouts, give or take.
You must do that. Own it, embrace it, live it, enjoy it.
That's what one says. I'm forever young.
You're trying to be. You're failing at it. Anyway, we're going to go to the cover story now, and we're going to begin with what took place shortly after midday today in the upscale community of Jacks Hill in St. Andrew, actually northeast St. Andrew. Well, there's an air of disbelief in the community. Why? A deadly shooting incident this afternoon. 5 men were shot and killed in an alleged confrontation with the police.
Well, it says the source's operation was intelligence-led and carried out by members of the Counter-Terrorism Organized Crime Investigation Branch, that's CTOC. 4 firearms were reportedly seized at the scene as well. We have with us a reporter who went to the area following the incident, Robian Williams. Good afternoon, Robian.
Good afternoon, Siobhan. Good afternoon, Cliff, to our viewers or listeners.
Good afternoon, Robbie. One resident told you this afternoon, Robbie, that she has been living in the area for 19 years, and she had never experienced anything like this in the community. Let's hear what she said, Books.
They heard multiple shots, rounds of shots, and based off my knowledge, some of them sound like they connect. This is Jacks Hill, community of Jacks Hill. Nothing like this has ever occurred before. Nothing of this sort has ever transpired here in this community. It is a bit shocking.
A bit shocking.
Indeed.
Tell us about her when you spoke with her. What mood was she in? What state was she in? And
Shock.
what did you see?
Shock.
Yes.
Because when I went on the scene, as we got wind of the story at about 12:50 thereabout, just before our meeting, and when I went there, the area was cordoned off, so we couldn't go beyond the barrier any at all. Yellow tape. I gather this has been a first in a very long time, if not the first entirely, that the residents there has seen a yellow tape draw on Jacks Hill Road. They were shocked, in disbelief. The police personnel there were diverting the traffic to another road, and everybody stopped to ask what was happening. So it was evident that something was happening, but they weren't aware of what was happening in their community.
How far up Jacks Hill Road was the main center of the incident?
Not too far away from Barbican. When you come off Barbican Road at the gas station right there at the foot of the hill, you can drive, say, about less than a minute. Less than a minute, and you'll get to the scene where it occurred.
So it based on what you were able to glean, was it that the shootout took place in the middle of the road or in a house?
It appears that they were running. It was a running gun battle because a lady who was on the scene, she didn't want to speak to us on the record, but she said that they had run onto her property and her vehicles got damaged.
By the bullets?
By the bullets. She had 2 vehicles, it appears, on her property, and it appears that those vehicles suffered damage.
Was there any indication as to where this incident started? You said it's a running battle, but was there any indication as to the actual origin of the altercation between the police and these men?
Not that I'm aware of. I want to tell you that we, as the reporters, we tried to access a property adjoining to the house or the area where it was said to have occurred, but there was so much bush we couldn't see. We weren't able to see because the area was heavily vegetated.
And law enforcement on the scene, did they give any indication as to what took place?
Not at all. When we spoke to the commander for the division, which is actually Central St. Andrew Police Division, he said that he was going to make some checks as it relates to the men and get back to us. But it was actually raining when we were leaving. It was raining there in Jacks Hill.
You also spoke with an elderly gentleman, a
72-year-old gardener.
Yes, who was nearby at the time. And he says he was forced to take cover as the gunshots rang out.
When I get on nice and when I look, because some mango, I go pick up, and when I look, I just hear blah, 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 and I have to run. Really have to run like thief. Then the boss come and say the block off here. So that's why I'm come out here now. Because I see movements, I see it look like a police. Working here for about 25 26 years. First, this is something like this. Because when me hear a gunshot, I say, upscale community it is. So this is a normal thing. So it have to be police or something. But it's very scary. To be honest, very, very scary. And I could have get killed with these stray bullets.
Indeed, he could have gotten injured because when he explained it to us, he said that he was going to pick some mangoes and his property, the property that he tends to, is the adjoining property to the area where it happened. So he said, I don't know if he was, being truthful, but he said he could literally see the bullets flying.
We're going to take a quick break and come back with you, Ruby, for more on this.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
15 minutes to 6.
Burn Chuck fried chicken always ready. Burn Chuck, original crispy. Burn Chuck, Cajun spicy. Burn Chuck, a barbecue. Burn Chuck, we are going Burn Chuck.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ochivios is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston, and it's 29 out west in Montego Bay.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Enough power tool, big to small. Chakama figure dig the wall.
Our Total Tools.
Feed walker figure trim the lawn. We have everything your job demand.
Total Tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, or Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slibe Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
This is an important announcement from the National Water Commission. The NWC wishes to advise the public that it will be repairing a section of the sewer pipeline network that runs along the railway lane in Montego Bay, St. James from 6 a.m. on Monday, July 21, 2025 to 6 p.m. on Friday, August 15, 2025. During this period, railway lane between Lightbody Avenue and Barracks Road will be closed to vehicular traffic, so motorists are asked to use alternate routes. As a result of this necessary work, there may also be some dust and noise nuisances. The NWC apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and craves the patience and understanding of the public. That was an important announcement from the National Water Commission.
Truth is, HIV affects everyone. Truth is, avoiding care leads to a weaker immune system. That means you could get really sick. The truth is, the hardest pill to swallow isn't the medication. It's the problems that follow when you don't take them. Let's get through this together. Remain in care. You can live life to the fullest with HIV. And that's the truth. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
12 minutes going up to 6 o'clock, we can tell you the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, is onto that incident in Jacks Hill, St. Andrew, shortly after midday today. 5 men were shot and killed in a confrontation, the police say, with them. And we are on standby for a statement from the JCF. There's been no official statement yet from the JCF. What we've been told is that one is to be with us shortly, and also that no member of the JCF will be speaking to the issue because it's now the subject of an investigation by INDECOM. But this is really setting tongues wagging, because where it happened, what were the men about to do? Were they on a mission? I see some people are speculating online that they were going to be doing all kinds of things. We don't know, no official word from the police, but it is of concern. In one incident, 5 men, and I can tell you, we see the pictures, we have the pictures. We cannot post the pictures on our platform because they're far too gruesome. Yes, one had his shoulder bone virtually blown off. Yeah, 3 had bullet wounds to their chest. Yes, to their chest. Anything else you notice on the pictures, Siobhan? Am I missing anything else? Yeah,
I don't like looking at those gruesome scenes, Mr. Hughes. I know it's
Come
part
on,
of our
some
job.
of the courage. Yeah,
I know it's part of our job, but these are very young men, at most in their mid-30s, younger even still, I suppose, dressed in very standard clothing as you'd expect to see anyone going up and about. But more interestingly, as I said, this was not just a random happenstance. This was information. Apparently what we have learned is that information was received by the Counterterrorism Organized Crime Investigation Branch, and they went out looking for these men on location in Jacks Hill community. Did that come across to you when you visited the scene, Roby?
Indeed. It was evident that some information, they got some information to some extent because, as you say, this is Jacks Hill. Nobody would expect, the residents surely didn't expect such an incident of this nature to happen in their, what they say is quiet, upscale community. And when I was on the scene, I overheard a woman telling the police there, well done, good job.
Oh, well done, good job. My first knowledge of this came from an elderly gentleman, a resident of the community, who called me as soon as I was coming off Cliff Hughes online this afternoon at about 2 minutes to 1 and said, Cliff, it is bad, whole heap of bullets, heavy artillery. That was a term he used to describe what he was hearing. Mm-hmm. So it was a gun battle. We're learning the police say they have seized how many weapons?
4 weapons, and they believe that a man escaped with a rifle.
A rifle?
Indeed. Mm. And when the residents explained it to me, what they heard, it was just the same. Mm-hmm. They even went as far as to say over 100 rounds. I mean, mm-hmm. They were just as shocked.
Wow. So that is the situation.
I mean, it goes to what the Prime Minister and the JCF heads have said, that when it comes to these situations, if you test the police, the outcome
You're
should
gonna
almost be certain.
You are going to lose. Mm-hmm. Yeah? And if you challenge the security forces, I hope every time they win.
Indeed.
Make no mistake about it. Because you have people in this country who are armed to the teeth and who have no hesitation in turning their guns on law-abiding citizens.
Indeed.
So when they choose to take on the police, if they do, and I say if they do, because we don't have enough, yes, in this case, yes, but we also know that the Jamaican police have a record, yeah, of killing, yeah, when they need not. Mm-hmm. But when they are challenged, yes, I hope they win every time.
And as you say, the speculations online, they're the same in the community, because I heard residents speaking about they must have had some intentions to go harm somebody because they were armed. They had weapons. So it's simply, to them, it meant that they were going somewhere. They had some intent to hurt someone. It wasn't just a normal day. Maybe something would have happened if the police had not stepped in.
Yeah.
And kudos to the police, because a few years before, we'd hear that they had escaped after completing whichever mission or task they had set upon. But now, in this improved era of the JCF, where intelligence-led operations are now becoming the norm rather than the exception.
Go ahead.
When these intelligence-led operations are becoming the norm rather than an exception, we now have the police able to intercept wrongdoers before the situation escalates towards harming innocent civilians.
Yeah. We're going to switch gears. Stay with us, Robbie, until we go up until 6. What happened in central Kingston last night when gunshots rang out in the vicinity of the GLP meeting in the constituency? And we heard from the head of the Central Kingston Police, Beresford Williams, this morning, that the police are of the view that it was not politically motivated. It was a quarrel between men gathered pretty nearby, one of whom drew a gun and fired shots in the air. Well, that was this morning, but the PNP this afternoon is describing as reckless and irresponsible. JLP, the Member of Parliament for West Portland, the JLP's Daryl Vaz, the Minister of Transport, who was at the meeting yesterday, on his way to the meeting, when he said that he saw some JLP supporters, and then he made this comment.
I see some labor rights that go around the road, and them say, boss, nobody go up there, no. The man, them a fire up a whole heap of shot. They say, oh, when I come close, I see a police car. I say, boss, be careful. I say, don't worry yourself, man. Let me tell you something. They are so desperate, Desmond, that they are prepared to do anything. But we not afraid of gunshot. No time at all. But it is a sign and a signal. Take sleep and mark death.
Daryl Vaz. He joins us now. Good afternoon, Minister Vaz.
Afternoon, Cliff. Afternoon. Who's on, Siobhan?
Good afternoon, Sir Vaz.
And Ruby Williams is also with us. Tell us, when did you learn first that something was going wrong?
I actually was coming all the way from Exchange in St. Anne, where I attended Matthew Samuda Divisional Conference, Exchange Divisional Conference. I was coming, so I was late actually. So I actually got to the meeting just a few minutes before 9 o'clock. And coming up, as I approached top of Duke Street and turned to go onto up by Hero Circle towards the Ministry of Finance, saw quite a few laborites walking down. And of course, I stopped to find out what happened. And they told me that the meeting was disrupted because there was gunshots in the area. And many people had left. We are obviously afraid. So I continued up. And as I said, what I said on the platform when I got closer, I saw quite a few police coming onto the scene. It was on Hitchens Street, which is obviously a very narrow road. And they told me what had happened and should be careful. So I proceeded to the meeting, got to the meeting, realized as I came out of the car, well, not even came out, when I was going on the road very slow because obviously the road, cars parked on both sides. People were telling me that shots were fired, etc. Be careful because the meeting mash up and way. Anyway, bottom line is I got there, meeting was still on, and I spoke subsequently. And left the meeting after Desmond McKenzie closed the meeting as the deputy leader for Area Council 1.
Well,
no two ways that it did impact the meeting, obviously because anything named gunshots.
Well, this afternoon, the PNP General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, said you should withdraw the comments you made and that they have been referred to the Office of the Political Ombudsman. Listen to this.
We've reported Minister Vaz to the Political Ombudsman. His conduct breaches standards of peace and fairness. It undermines our democracy. We demand Minister Vaz retract his comments immediately and reflect on his repeated use of threatening gestures. To all leaders, exercise integrity. The PNP remains committed to peaceful politics. We will protect Jamaica from fear-mongering and division.
How do you respond to that, Minister Vaz?
Who you say that is?
Dr. Dayton Campbell, the PNP General Secretary.
Absolutely doesn't sound like him. Must have trained hard to speak like that.
What do you mean by that, Minister Vaz?
Cliff,
Mr. Vaz?
let me just explain something to you. I am watching very carefully, and I have been warning for many, many weeks the type of politics, the type of utterances, and the type of actions that have been taking place. Not today, not yesterday, for weeks. And instead of getting better, it's getting worse. Yes? And I know exactly, I've been in politics a long time, from the 70s with my father. So I've been through it, been there, done that. And the fact of the matter is that I'm very, very uncomfortable with the rhetoric on the PNP platform, who they bring on their platform, and more importantly, what is said on their platform, what is said off of their platform, and the recent incidents in relation to the buses that just came to Jamaica and was handed over. I'm watching a very, very careful trend, which I don't like. I made no mention last night of PNP in anything that I said. Zero.
But in light of what has been said by the police, Minister Vaz.
Maybe what Dayton Campbell should do is play back that and listen to it. Listen to what he says and act accordingly. Yes? Don't do as I say. Do as I do. Yes? So I'm not quite sure what he's saying and what should I be apologizing for?
Well, he said you suggested that this was political, and it would have been politically orchestrated or somehow the responsibility of the PNP. That's what he suggested.
It will be irresponsible of me to say that because I just came on the scene and I knew nothing. Nothing at all. What I know is what I have been seeing going on and hearing going on over recent weeks and months. Yes? And it's not impressive.
May I ask?
And it's coming from that side. More than it is coming from my side. And I've cautioned both sides on the platform publicly that we must campaign on our performance and campaign on our plans and campaign on our policies and do not campaign against personal attacks on one another, etc., etc., etc. So nobody can tell me that I have not been doing that and saying that. But if I do see a trend, I'll call it out every day and twice on Sunday. That's
Mr. Vaz, the matter of the buses, the stoning of the buses, yes? Has there been any more incidents since Friday or Saturday night?
I haven't gotten anything from when the buses were pulled and brought back on. What I do have is all of the actual reports that have been made to the police, all of the areas in which the stoning have taken place. And as I said before, there has been more incidents of stoning over the 2 days of putting those buses into operation for the entire year so far and probably going into last year. Yes? So it must be a hell of a coincidence, right, that we could have that level of attack for which I categorize it as act of terrorism, right? When
act of terrorism, Darrell Vaz. Act of terrorism, that's over the top.
With people, with Jamaican people in there.
Minister Vaz, suggesting an act of terrorism suggests a political motivation.
Again, the only thing that I can say, I have not gotten anything from the police other than exactly the reports that were made by the JUTC through their drivers and through their operations and security. But I note with interest the areas in which the actions have taken place. And all coincidentally, all too coincidentally, they are coming from very, very strong PNP, well-known areas.
So do you believe there to be a political motivation behind these attacks, Mr. Vaz?
It would never surprise me in the least. And as I said before, until the police tells me, I wouldn't be able to say that with any confirmation because they are the ones who have the power of an investigation to be able to say categorically what they feel. But I can tell you something, it wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Based on the damage that has been done to the buses, well, how much will it cost to repair them?
So I don't have the cost. What I do know is that once the windshields are damaged, and a lot of it is the windshields that have been cracked and windows that have been cracked, they pull the buses out of service until they replace them for obviously safety reasons. So it's an inconvenience because you're down lesser bus, and secondly, sometimes in this case, hopefully, the parts would have arrived that we order with the buses, which is a stipulation that I've made. 1 year of parts with the buses. But I have not had cabinet today, so I've not gotten an update in terms of where we are with the repairs and how much of them are done. But I will definitely get that and make it known to the public in due course. And hopefully the police will also be able to give us a confirmation as to what is the cause of this increase of the stoning of brand new buses that have just hit the road for the Jamaican P commuters.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vaz.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
Let's hope things remain and keep calm and safe, and we have a safe and peaceful election.
Yes.
Allow the people to exercise their democratic right.
Darrell Vaz is the Minister of Transport. Thank you so much. Thank you to Roly for joining us. The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Noragay Banton. An air of disbelief hangs over the upscale community of Jacks Hill in St. Andrew following a deadly shooting incident today. 5 men were shot and killed in an alleged confrontation with the police. Sources say the operation was intelligence-led and carried out by members of the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch CTOC. 4 firearms were reportedly seized at the scene. However, it's believed that one gunman with a rifle managed to escape during the operation. According to residents, the piece was shattered just after midday by a barrage of heavy gunfire. The police have not yet issued an official statement on the incident. One resident who says she has lived in the area for 19 years and requested anonymity says she had never experienced anything like this in the community.
They heard multiple shots, rounds of shots, and based off my knowledge, some of them sound like they connect. This is Jacks Hill, community of Jacks Hill. Nothing like this has ever occurred before. Nothing of this sort has ever transpired here in this community. It is a bit shocking.
Meanwhile, a 72-year-old gardener who was nearby at the time says he was forced to take cover as the gunshots rang out.
When me get it on nice and when me look, cause some mango, me say me I go pick up, and when me look, me just hear blah, 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 and I have to run. Really have to run like thief. Then the boss come and say the block off here. So that's why I come out here now. Because I see movements, I see it look like a police. Working here for about 26 years. First, this is something like this. Because when me get a gunshot, me I say upscale community it is. So this is a normal thing. So it have to be police or something. But it's very scary. To be honest, very, very scary. And I could get killed with these stray bullets.
Meanwhile, the number of people killed by the security forces since the start of the year has jumped to 184. That's according to the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM. The figure is 100 101 more than the 83 individuals killed up to July 21 last year. It represents a 121% increase in police fatal shootings when compared to the similar period last year. So far, 22 have been reported in July alone. This is compared to the 15 killed by the police in July last year. The police killing of 5 men on Monday in Jacks Hill, St. Andrew is the latest to be reported. Indicom says only 39 members of the JCF have been charged within the 1-year period following their investigations. Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice JFJ Michael Jackson says the country may have to look at establishing a committee to review how it imposes consecutive versus concurrent sentencing. She was reacting to a case involving a father who was sentenced to 33 years for raping, trafficking, and child pornography involving his daughter and stepdaughter.
While the organization is certainly not in support of excessive mandatory minimum, because I don't want to be misunderstood, we have called for, when we made our recommendation to the Joint Select Committee reviewing the Offense Against the Persons Act, the 3 pieces of legislation speaking to mandatory minimum, that we should have established perhaps a sentencing commission that would look at how sentences are imposed, and perhaps it's time for us to look at how we utilize consecutive versus concurrent sentencing in our country. I think it's important.
The St. Catherine man, a taxi driver, pleaded guilty to the heinous offences in February this year. He was sentenced to a combined 100 years in the Home Circuit Court last Tuesday, but the sentences will run concurrently. This means the taxi driver will serve only the longest single sentence of 33 years and 8 months before becoming eligible for parole. Ms. Jackson is urging Jamaicans to break the culture of silence and report such incidents.
Most of the rape incidents that occur, it's within the family and a close family member. And I think we have to look within, do some introspection on how we view rape, because far too many family members are aware of somebody in their family who just not too right. And we keep silent. And I tell you, JFJ, we have done research, we have engaged the community, and the attitude that we have where we label the girl child as bad, we need to look within, and we need to utilize the 211 number a little bit more, where it is okay to inform when you see something of concern.
Michael Jackson, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy. Look for the Multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-link?
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Are you looking to drive sales and build brand visibility this summer? Be a vendor at the Nationwide 90FM Back to School Fair on Saturday, August 9 at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. Families from St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth will be out in full force. And you should be too. Call us at 876-630-1210 or email sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com to secure your spot. Let's put your brand where it matters, on the ground. Tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 8 p.m. for a town hall meeting on July 24 at the Mona School of Business Executive Lecture Theatre at the University of the West Indies, Mona. It's time for a first world, peaceful and wealthy Jamaica. No more empty promises. Join visionary Andrew Donahue and host George Davis and hear the unveiling of a bold path forward. New governance, a people-owned economy, a social credit system to fight crime, and first world cities in 7 years. Join us as we celebrate a first world, peaceful and wealthy Jamaica on Thursday, July 24 from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a town hall meeting at the Mona School of Business Executive Lecture Theatre at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Catch the live stream on Nationwide's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Andrew Donahue, a visionary dedicated to transforming Jamaica into a first world country.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports. Well, good evening. Welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica will open their final round CONCACAF World Cup qualifying series with an away game against Bermuda in Hamilton on September 5. 4 days later, they'll return home to face their biggest Caribbean rivals, Trinidad and Tobago, at the National Stadium on September 9. The series breaks until October 10, with the Reggae Boys on the road again, this time to face Curaçao in capital city Willemstad. They're back at the National Stadium in Kingston for the return leg against Bermuda on October 14, before hitting the road again for the big second leg against Trinidad and Tobago in Port of Spain on November 13. The campaign comes to an end in Kingston on November 18 against Curaçao. The winners of the groups will qualify directly to the FIFA World Cup finals in the USA, Canada, and Mexico in 2026. Group A will feature Panama, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Suriname. Meanwhile, Costa Rica, Honduras, Haiti and Nicaragua will take on each other in Group C. Kickoff times for the games will be announced at a later date. The final day of the qualifiers, though, will see all games starting simultaneously. Andrew Peart, Rudolph Speed, Merrin Gordon, and Theodore Whitmore are 4 local coaches currently participating in the TTFA CONCACAF Pro License Coaching Certification course being held in Trinidad and Tobago. The course is being led by Chief Football Officer of the Football Association of Wales, David Adams. Andrew Peart, who coaches at the schoolboy level with Glen Muir, and he's a technical man in charge in Montego Bay United. He's also the national youth coach and head of the Jamaica Coaching School. He told Nationwide Sports the course allows the quartet to be amongst the elite coaches in the region.
It is very important because as you coach, you have to try to be at that cutting edge of what's new, what's modern, what are the current trends. Even at that level, try to pretty much pioneer new trends at that level. So it's very important that we have Jamaican coaches there.
Peart is also suggesting that the course in the long run will be beneficial to players by extension. He added that having certified coaches on the local soil augurs well for the growth and development of football in the land.
If you then have those coaches working in the club environments to get the players better, then the players become more marketable. They move overseas. They move overseas to very good markets. They come back as better national players. Once they come back as better national players, then your national team starts to improve. You have younger players now start to role model their behaviors and say, okay, that player went out early. I want to do the same.
Andrew Peart. Jamaica ended the West Indies Rising Stars on the 19 men's cricket tournament on a winning note. They beat the Leeward Islands by 1 wicket at the St. Paul Sports Complex in St. Kitts on Monday. The Leewards batted first. They posted 149 in 36 overs. DeAndre Drew led the way with 24 against 2-wicket performances from Rashawn McKenzie, Tamari Redwood, and Raven Morgan. Jamaica replied with 150 for 9 in 40 overs. Tyreek Bryant, 41, and David Dewar, 39, made most runs. Michael McKenzie bagged 4 for 35, and Amori Jones, 3 for 25. USA 1 captured the title after beating the Windward Islands by 4 wickets at Connemara. Jamaica's under-19 women's team finished the third at the 2025 Cricket West Indies Rising Stars Women's Under-19 Championship after suffering a one-wicket defeat against Trinidad and Tobago in the third and fourth place playoff. Batting first, Jamaica were bowled out for 170 inside their allotted 35 overs, with captain Abigail Bryce top scoring. She got 62. Trinidad and Tobago's Brianna Haricharan was chief destroyer. She picked up 4 for 14 from 7 overs. In response, Trinidad and Tobago reached their target of 118 with the last ball of the innings. Opener Amrita Ramatal top scored with 16 in an innings that saw the Jamaicans giving away 33 extras. The championship was won by Barbados, who registered a 7-wicket victory via the Duckworth-Lewis method over the Leeward Islands. Jamaica and West Indies batsman Andre Russell will end his international career when the West Indies take on Australia in the second T20 International at Sabina Park on Tuesday. The tourists lead the 4-match series, in fact the 5-match series 1-0 after a 3-wicket win in the first match on Sunday. Former captain of the West Indies, Jason Holder, says they hope to send the 37-year-old Jamaican off with a victory.
It'd be great to send him off on a high. It'd be great to send him off on a winning note, which I'm confident that we can definitely do. You know, we've got confidence that we can turn it around. It's just one game in the series, 4 left, and you know, his final game, we just want to go there and give everything for him.
But in order to do that, Holder says they've got to improve.
Yeah, there was obviously a high boundary count by the Aussies, so I think if we can limit that, you know, maybe cut a few of the 6s to 4s, maybe 4s to 2s or 3s, you know, that adds up in the end. You know, having said that, I think our execution could be better, and if we execute better, I think that those margins could come down a little bit. I don't think we could really probably hit the top order that well. I mean, that much, but I think if anything, the lower half can probably, you know, spend a few more balls before we start to hit. But I think the situation in the game was one where we believed that it was a 200-odd pitch, and you know, guys thought that, you know, we had to come in and go hard.
Jason Holder. 3 African countries will apply to become associate members of the International Cricket Council, ICC, later this year. Burkina Faso, Mauritius and Burundi are all planning to submit the relevant paperwork with the ICC Membership Committee before December's deadline. The trio had hoped to be considered by the governing body at this year's ICC annual general meeting. However, none of the 3 countries were able to progress further with their applications due to various administrative queries raised by the ICC. At last weekend's AGM in Singapore, the ICC increased their total number of members to 110 after Zambia and Timor-Leste were both given associate status. Zambia were expelled by the ICC in 2021 for problems relating to their governance, but have now been readmitted. The ICC said that at their AGM after that USA Cricket will remain on notice amid ongoing membership compliance concerns. USA Cricket was at serious risk of being suspended by the ICC, which would have resulted in a cut to central funding and the United States men's and women's sides barred from international events. USA Cricket has addressed 5 of the 8 issues flagged by the ICC relating to governance, finance, and administration. Rather than an outright suspension, the ICC have opted to give USA Cricket more time to resolve remaining issues, with the caveat that the global governing body's board reserve the right to take such action as it deems appropriate. One key area that Cricket USA are under pressure to address is that of satisfying the criteria laid out by the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee for the national governing body status. NGB status is required for a sport to take its place at the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games, where cricket is due to make a return after 120 years out. And finally, in sports at this time, Jamaica will host a 1-week training camp for Caribbean para-athletes and coaches called GAPS, Gather, Adjust, Prepare, Sustain, and it will be at the University of the West Indies, July 20 to 26. This will be the second edition of its transformative program and will welcome 8 para-athletes and 18 coaches from 6 Caribbean countries, and namely Jamaica, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago. This will be the first time for Dominica and Guyana. The Jamaica Commonwealth Games Association, the Jamaica Paralympics Association, and the University of the West Indies have joined forces to stage a camp on the UA campus. A highlight of the camp will see athletes competing in a dedicated event on the penultimate day. to showcase new skills and experience parasport classification, which is an essential step towards participating in major international competitions. President of the Jamaica Olympic and Paralympic Association, Chris Samuda, says they are transforming Jamaica into a mecca of education and of practical training for coaches as well as athletes and administrators.
This is something that we have always felt that the Jamaica Paralympic Association must be in place, not only to profile the Commonwealth Games Association in Jamaica, but also to demonstrate the importance of para-athletes to the sporting asset of this country. So this is organized in conjunction with the Commonwealth Games Federation. We have as a support our partner, the University of the West Indies, and we are hoping that this will continue on an annual basis to ensure that there is a pipeline of knowledge and expertise that we're imparting not only to our para-athletes but also our coaches.
That's Chris Samuda at Sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:24.
Government of Jamaica is investing in a C5 center. What is happening here in terms of the cameras will be fed into our national strategic coordination of the cameras and other sensors that are deployed across Jamaica. So we're not just talking about security, we're putting it in. So all the people talking about cameras and body-worn cameras, come on man, the government knows what it is doing and we are moving with speed and alacrity to have it installed. It is in the government's interest, in your interest, that our police officers have body-worn cameras. We don't want to have cameras that we put on and then it doesn't work. It's not about cameras. It's about an ecosystem where each officer can capture the situation that confronts them and have that evidence capture stored in a retrievable way, but in a secure way that it cannot be manipulated so that it reaches evidentiary standards for court proceeding. That is what we want. And so it takes time to build out that so that it has endurance. And that is what we're doing.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Are your devices accurate? Are they calibrated? Even small errors can lead to big problems. That's why Jamaicans trust the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From food to fuel, health to hardware, our metrology and testing division provides world-class calibration and measurement services to keep your devices precise and your business meeting global standards. Whether you're weighing goods, monitoring temperature, or relying on the accuracy of devices, we get it right every time. Our advanced equipment and experts help you move with confidence. Call 876-618-1534 or visit bsj.org.jm. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market, the power of precision, powering accuracy, ensuring safety.
You want to win? Then just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58. Of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special one to our YouTubers. Thank you so much for staying with us. We invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. It's a Monday, a new week, and we're welcoming it. We're welcoming with my arms on them someday. All right, so let's get to it. A juvenile has been arrested in connection with one of the recent incidents of vandalism on JUTC buses. That's according to head of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces JCF Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP Gary McKenzie.
The security forces are very serious about preventing this. And in fact, we have to increase our patrols in areas where we have noted those incidents that have happened. Already, we have a juvenile in custody that we believe to be one of the persons who have committed that offense. But we know that there are other persons, and we are going to be very serious when they are caught. We have to ensure that we protect transportation in this country. It is one of the means of ensuring that we continue to develop, sustain ourselves, and of course it is the means by which the average Jamaican has to move around.
That's ACP Gary McKenzie, head of PSTEB. At least 8 of the coaches added to the JUTC fleet last week have been vandalized. This involves Friday's latest incident where 4 of the buses were stoned along Washington Boulevard in St. Andrew. So, in public opinion this evening, we're asking, what should the punishment be for persons guilty of stoning JUTC buses? Right away, I'll start on our Instagram platform where Wayne Tipsy Campbell is saying 25 years in prison. Paul Best Deal is saying 1 year in jail, a minimum fine of Jamaican $1 million and community service. Edwards is saying, I think they should feel what the buses feel. Hashtag stoning. We're not inciting violence. Robert Gregory Lewis is saying 150 years in prison without parole. J3T is, yes, a prison sentence of hard labor to pay for it. Lethal is saying a fine of $1 million or 1 year in prison. Sabrina believes they should repair the bus at all cost, plus 15 years at hard labor, them to ota ada. Smart Marlene is saying a hefty fine in addition to community service to clean cemeteries, parks, and streets. Yeah? The one boss man says hard labor and pay for the damage. If they can't pay, 5 years maximum. What should be the punishment for persons guilty of stoning JUTC buses? We turn our attention to Facebook. Becca Grant is saying repair the bus with a mandatory sentence of 15 years, hard labor. Make an example out of them. Audley Phillip is saying willful damage to any government property should automatically bring minimum of 10 years in prison time plus mandatory repairs and compensation for loss of use. Daphne is saying if caught in the act, not sure what GS means. Lily Roses is saying fix all the buses that damage and 10 years hard labor. Marianne Harriet is saying banned from getting within 10 feet of a public bus, not 10 years. Yeah? Maxine Soleil Riley, apply whatever laws that are there in our Constitution regarding damage to property. I do hope that such provisions carry hefty fines in jail time and finances, thus making serious examples of perpetrators. Denval Mullings saying they should be sentenced to a fine equivalent to the cost of repairing the damage. Let's see what our YouTubers are saying. What should the punishment be for persons guilty of stoning JUTC buses? Let me see on our YouTube. Yes, 10 lashes plus 2 years. Coming from Verley Green. Lloyd Campbell believes 5 years in prison, no monetary fine, confinement in prison. Yeah? 15 years in prison, says Paula Barnes. Yeah, 10 years in prison, Phyllis. Wait, a prison sentence? Prison sentence I give out here. So, life in prison at hard labor, says Petrona Smith. For Ewart Hugh, he's saying 25 years in prison and 20 before being eligible for parole. Yeah, 25 years. I'm seeing a lot of hefty sentences here for the offense of stoning JUTC buses. Josephine is saying 5 years in prison. Neville Bennett is saying it should be a sentence of 5 years once you're found guilty. Yeah? Facts believe that the person should pay $970,000 or 13 years in prison or 13 years at hard labor. Dwight Bonner saying life in prison without parole and hard labor. I am looking at these. Loxley saying 10 years. And I am now being joined by...
This is breaking news from Nationwide Radio.
The breaking news is brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing building solutions for everyday challenges.
Sorry to interrupt you, Robe, at 27 minutes going up to 7 o'clock, but we have to tell you, we have now an official statement from the Jamaica Constabulary Force on the killing of 5 men in Jackshill, St. Andrew this afternoon. It is a contract killing. According to the statement from the JCF, a contract killing was thwarted by members of the JCF, which resulted in the fatal shooting of 5 men and the recovery of 4 firearms during a confrontation on Jackshill Road in St. Andrew on Monday, July 21, 2025. According to the JCF statement, about 12:40 this afternoon, a police team was carrying out investigations into a murder plot, which led the officers to that location. On their arrival at the premises, the officers came under heavy gunfire and responded to the threat to their lives. When the shooting subsided, 5 men were seen with gunshot wounds. They were taken to hospital where they were pronounced dead. According to the JCF, the identities of the deceased have not yet been ascertained. 4 firearms, a shotgun, 1 M16 rifle, a Glock pistol, and a Taurus pistol were recovered from the scene. No police officer was injured during the confrontation. According to the police statement, the police are currently searching for a 6th man who escaped. Meanwhile, Courtney Ashley, otherwise called Bloodstain, is asked to report to the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, CTOC. According to the JCF, anyone with information that can assist the police in the investigations is asked to contact the CTOC at 876-967-1389, Crime Stop at 311, the National Intelligence Bureau at 811, or the nearest police station. The matter was reported to the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, and the JCF's Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau, IPROBE. So the news out of this, the JCF has confirmed what we were hearing earlier, that a contract killing was thwarted by members of the constabulary force, which resulted in the fatal shooting of 5 men and the seizing of 4 firearms during a confrontation on Red Hills Road in St. Andrew sometime around 12:40 this afternoon. Thank you very much, Robbie. That's it.
The breaking news was brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing building solutions for everyday challenges.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:36.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 out west in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Roby-Ann Williams. Lawyers for Harvard University and the Trump administration have sparred in a Boston courtroom as they fought over President Donald Trump's decision to strip billions of dollars in government funding for the university's education programs. In a hearing on Monday, the judge overseeing the case seemed skeptical of the move to freeze more than $2 billion in federal grants for the university in a stated effort to fight anti-Semitism. The judge questioned how denying money allocated for medical research would stop anti-Semitism. At one point, she called the government's claims mind-boggling. Lawyers for Trump argued that the cuts are deserved and necessary to punish anti-Jewish bias. In the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 21 cents to buy $1, 217 Jamaican dollars and 6 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 117 Jamaican dollars and 28 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Roby-Ann Williams. Good evening.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for road transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group? Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you.
Calling all businesses. Nationwide 90 FM's Back to School Fair is heading to Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay on Saturday, August 9. And your brand should be there. With families from St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth expected to attend, it's the perfect chance to connect directly with back-to-school shoppers. Contact us at sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com or call 876-630-1210 to book your vendor space today.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. We now have for you a rebroadcast of the Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's speech at the Area Council Forum meeting at Anchovy High School on Sunday, July 20. This is a paid-for broadcast by the Jamaica Labour Party.
You know that your leader is someone who is very strategic. Every action that I undertake has some instrumentality in it, being it that it is for a purpose. It serves a greater good.
Big man.
And so we have taken the time to go around the country to speak to you, our supporters, the base of the party, to report to you on what we have been doing as your government. We account to you. We also took the time to engage the general public, the wider Jamaica community and family at large, in speaking to our achievements and our record. It is important that we do this because you don't want the voters to take for granted the level of work, achievement, and accomplishment that has been done under this administration. Because the opposing narrative was to say nothing now one. And when there is frustration, people can easily buy that. Take, for example, the conversation about water nationally. But if we were to use South St. James as an example, they would say, not go on to water in a South St. James. And that might take some rules, because, as your member of parliament pointed out, there are challenges with water in South St. James. I have been into communities in this constituency where I was told bluntly, no water, no vote. You remember that woman? A young lady told me that, and I listened to her very carefully. There is a lot wrong with that statement. But I understood what she was saying. I understood. And when that kind of frustration exists, all it takes is for someone else to come and say, "Tell me water. As we win, you will get water." And in that frustration, people will accept a promise. We have seen this before. In 2011 election, some of you did not have come up here yet, but during the election campaign, a big promise was made. When we win, we're going to take GCT off our electricity. How many of you remember that? And when they won, what they had to do? Not only they had to put back GCT and electricity, they had to put on tax after tax after tax. But in the heat of the campaign, a lot of people bite. They said that they would get IMF deal a couple weeks after they win. It takes them almost 2 years. Some of you, again, being not a bit of age at the time, and it's a little while now, some of you may forget. But in the frustration of the moment, people will accept a promise. So, I want you, the supporters of the party, and I want the general public listening to appreciate that this is a government of action and performance of promises. So let us use South St. James as the example. In Lapland, Kataduba, your member of parliament told you that those people who didn't have water before, we have now commissioned the water supply system. Something went on for water in this constitution. Probably the largest expenditure on a water project in this constituency is now underway. The schedule to ensure water supply. $600 million on investment to bring water. Your member of parliament named the community. We have planned now the Cambridge treatment plant facility. And we have been planning the Spring Garden Phase 2 and 3 and the Barham Town water system. All those are in the works to come. So, even though things are happening, there are persons who right now are without water. This particular young lady saw me handing over a social house. So I was in the constituency doing nothing. I was there doing something. But as the community gathered to express their appreciation and happiness for the member of their community that is in the house, they also took the opportunity to express their frustration. And I'll never forget it. This young lady, she said to me, I am 32 years old. I work in a supermarket in Montego Bay. And I have to take almost a third of my pay to buy water every month. You see why she's upset? The argument came up that, so if we don't get the water, now go. This, by the way, was one of the communities that is slated to get water from the Shetwood project, which is underway. But having waited for 32 years, because she did say that for all her life, her community has never had water. For all her life, never had water. She never catch the PMP then, and me she catch. And she understood it very well. She said, I understand what you are doing, Prime Minister, but we're tired of carrying water. We want the water now. So can you imagine when somebody comes with sweet mouth and say, I will give you water. I will even come and turn on pipe and wash my hands in the water to show you that my hands are clean so you can shake my hands. You can imagine that she might very well be swayed by that argument. I go through this experience to relay a point to you. And a point which the young lady understood, because I said to her, you have not had water since you were born. We've lived in this couple for 32 years. I have only become the Prime Minister for 9 years of that 32 years. I was not the cause of you not having the water. I didn't create that problem. But I am responsible. I am responsible. And I was able to show her how I am executing my responsibility. I could show her that we have $600 million of investment going on right now. Pipes are being pumped are being water in buildings everywhere. And it is important for every other young person who wants to have the modern convenience of water in their home, in their bathroom, so they can turn on the pipe and say, shower! There is water on its way. There is hope. But bear in mind that problem. And I will go a little further by saying to you that this constituency was held by a PNP for over 30 years. And you see what I'm telling you here now. You listen to it carefully. So, you will know that it goes a little bit. You listen to it. And I'm talking to you, but I'm not only talking to you alone, I'm talking to people watching us on TikTok. Big up the people on TikTok. Big up the people that on Facebook and Instagram and social media. And if they want here, they want here. So, of that 32 years, the PNP had 18 and a half years straight that they ran the country. They were in charge. There was no break in their term of office. They had state resources for 18 and a half years. They ran the economy of this country for 18 and a half years straight. And if you take what they have done for water in 18 and a half years and you compare it what he have done for water in over 9 years, he doubled what they have done. Selector, I don't need music to ride up the town. When the rain comes, you use it. So, listen to this point very carefully. So I said to the young lady, the reason why you don't have any water is the mismanagement of the PNP for 18 and a half years, which we have not recovered from. There are those now listening who are quick to and say, oh, that's in the past, that's in the past. Why are you bringing that up? That's in the past, that has nothing to do with today. Well, that is a silly logic. Because if we didn't fix the problem then, we wouldn't have the problem now. Those who are going to come now and give you some intellectual argument about what I have said, listen to me carefully. The PNP mismanaged the economy and created the greatest devastation on the Jamaican people called TINSA. It transferred wealth from the poor to the rich. The people who benefited from that transfer of wealth are now coming to you to say, we want power again. Two of them benefited from the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. And now this young lady, 32 years old, in her life, never see water. Never see water. She never see them. Me, she see. And I will not fail her. Because she will get per water because we are not transferring wealth from the poor to the rich. What this government has done, is to manage the economy so well that we now have the resources to spend on the concerns of the poor. But I want you to follow me a little bit more along the logic of this argument. Every government should be able to build upon the legacy of the government that came. The PNB has not left us any legacy in water. It has not left us any legacy in roads. It has not left us any legacy in education. They have not left us any legacy in health. They presided over 18 and a half years of decline in our infrastructure, of decline in our institutions, of decline in our society. You only need to look at how the NWC functioned during the period of the film. A debt-ridden, undercapitalized institution without the capacity to build out the water infrastructure in the island. Now, my 32-year-old friend, she's not going to make the connection with the bad government of the past that they do what they are supposed to do, because granted, she would be about 15 or so years at the time, so she would know. You see, why it is important, therefore, that whenever we take the platform, yes, we want to do some gimmicks to get you to laugh and clap and do the Puzella, but we come here to teach. We come here to remove the clouds and dark narratives that have misled our people for a long time. We come here to illuminate and illuminate and to educate and to lift eyes of the people so that they know the right choices to make. And so we have been very strategic in making sure that our record is done. Now, a wise philosopher once said, when the debate is lost, the opponent turns to attacking the person. They cannot contest us on our record of performance. This administration is the most successful administration in delivering for the people of Kenya. And all I need to say to you remember Jeep? You remember that promise? At the time when they made the promise, unemployment was high. Over 13% hereabout. And they promised that they would create employment. What they did? They create some crash work program. You remember, some of you might not remember that, that's a problem. And that's why we have to teach, that's why we have to bring these things back into the forefront of the mind of the people because they're relevant to the decisions that you have to make. Indeed. Now look at their solution, which never really did anything. And I want to know, to look at what we implemented. We implemented the WOC program. We implemented the National Service Corps. We made hard training free for our youngsters, 120,000 of them. We have summer programs with over 15,000 to about 20,000 youngsters being employed throughout the government. But I want you to also appreciate that the way in which we ran the economy generated jobs naturally and organically. We didn't have to create jobs artificially. The economy, because we run it so well, has generated jobs in the normal course of its operation. And so when unemployment was 30% or more under the PNP, unemployment today is 3.3%. The lowest unemployment rate in the history of the nation. The lowest. So what's going on? I give that, just use an example. Of their approach and their policy and our approach and our results. So now, because we have so many achievements and we are very deliberate in marking the achievements, I went to a school in my constituency, an early childhood institution, some years ago. And when I was about to told me they couldn't find the river. And you know, those young kids, they go to school and they have in the pummels and the ribbons and they look so cute. And they said, Prime Minister, I hear you don't have the ribbon. And they took out the ribbons and they tied them together and made the bow for us to cut. And so when I got to the basic school, I cut the ribbon. Only though to see, you know, Brian Nancy. A man come out and say, what time in youngster come home without a remand in my card? Where is the remand? And it said, and you cut it. So, you see what has happened? They can't quarrel about the police agents that we build and we will use. They can't quarrel about the water projects that they are doing. They can't quarrel about the roads that we are fixing. They can't quarrel about the jobs we have created. They can't quarrel. These are not things that you can contest. They are facts. So what they do now is to prove to attack me. To say, after go walk on Cod River. You can see that, you see how them, you know, I keep my words themselves. You see how they disingenuous. A nice word to describe them is pumujin. But But Darren Falls Lazarus and them bad man. They tried to play upon the frustration, discontent, and real concern of the frustrated voter. To get the frustrated voter not to pay attention to all that they are doing and to vote in an emotional and probably sometimes more often irrational way. But we have countered that because we have a resume of achievement that we show to the public that cannot be contested. So now their campaign has shifted from trying to deal with our record to now trying to attack people individually. And you see this with the school bus policy. A policy that makes sense, that is going to benefit the people. They try to attack the policy, never work, and then now they try to attack the person who is implementing it. So I am here now fighting out to you that you don't get caught in this kind of carrying and trickery that the opposition is coming. Typically, and I think because I've been talking around the country a lot, and they can hear that Provence is getting a little bit raspy. And today is the anniversary, so I really have to get you now. So now I'm sure, positive, that you understand what your party has been doing. And you are now more than empowered about the tedious plans and schemes and lies and character assassination and rumor mongering of the opposition. Now, we will be going up here with even greater intensity to get to every Jamaican so that they appreciate what we have done. You know, we are not a perfect government. We're not a perfect government. But if you listen to some of the conversations, there is an attempt to compare us to perfection, which is not quite fair. You have to compare us to our competitor. And if you take our record and compare our record with our competitor's record, 90% of the time we come out much better. So what that means is that the Jamaica Labour Party is better for Jamaica. So going back to my friend, my 32-year-old friend who's frustrated about water. For her, the conversation is not about Jamaica. For her, the conversation is about the water in her community. She don't believe it about the rest of Jamaica. And I understand that. And by the way, all politics is local. She's interested in our local situation. However, the water does not fall from the sky. Yes, rain falls from the sky. But the water has to be harvested It has to be stored. It has to be treated. It has to be pumped. It has. There's so many other things that we have to do with the water. And it does not take a day or 2 or 6 months to do these major infrastructure projects. They take time. Take money and it takes time. Therefore, if you want the local things to happen in your community that you are wishing for, your local roads, your local water supply, you must therefore look for the political party that can run the national economy well to generate the revenues so that we can then focus on your local community. So I say to all of the young people who want to disconnect their local needs, dreams, aspirations from their responsibility to select wisely, to select a government that can run the economy, that generate the revenue, that they can come and spend $560 million, almost $600 million on water. Therefore, all of you here, particularly I see the colder ones who are here, up to your young ones, they are particularly frustrated. They see other countries doing well and modern and have good facilities, and they wonder why we don't have it. But they don't make the connection with the history of bad government, the 18 and a half years of economic failure, which prevented the investment in infrastructure that would have effectually brought water into Shetland water. So now, Jamaica is at this point where it is doing well with the economy. But we are taking the benefits of the economy and we are bringing it, transferring it as it were, into the communities that have been deprived for years. That process must not be interrupted. That process must be allowed to continue. That process must be allowed to take root. And that is why we say to you, yes, you have the local challenges. But for those local challenges to be dealt with, we have to fix the national, the big picture. And therefore, choose Jamaica. Choose the Jamaica Labour Party, because the Jamaica Labour Party is dead for the Labour. My Labour Rights family.
That was Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness speaking at the Area Council 4 meeting at Anchovy High School on Sunday. That was a paid message brought to you by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Truth is, you can live life to the fullest with HIV. This time signal is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The time is...
It's 7:17.
Now, PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
You wanna do your thing with your queen or your king?
Or I get a little frisky that make you flex risky.
PrEP, are you extra bucketed?
To help you stay HIV negative.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV. PrEP tablets available at your clinic from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Why rush around town for back-to-school shopping? Nationwide 90 FM is making it easy at our back-to-school fair. Come get your child measured for uniforms, check their shoe size, and purchase essentials right there on the spot. St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, St. Elizabeth. We've got everything in one place just for you. That's Saturday, August 9, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. The Nationwide 90 FM back-to-school fair.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit accounts puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Are you ready to pursue undergraduate studies but you are unsure of what to study and where? Choose the internationally accredited University of the Commonwealth Caribbean UCC. We offer on-campus and online undergraduate programs in marketing, business administration, information technology, HR management, finance management, and more. Apply now at ucc.edu.jm or call 906-3000 or visit any of our campuses island-wide. UCC, fostering leadership and innovation.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere, spend while supporting the economy. Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link?
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Good evening, good evening. It's 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Well, we have in studio with us this evening a man who is the founder of KRV, a leadership coalition focused on transforming Jamaica into a first world, peaceful, and wealthy nation. According to the founder, Andrew Donahue, his blueprint isn't rooted in politics, but in nation building, community empowerment, and economic independence.
Mr. Donahue brings with him more than 21 years of military service in the U.S. Navy, including satellite communications and support for Air Force One. He holds a master's degree in commercial real estate development and social innovation and has built a global portfolio of businesses spanning tech, real estate, and entertainment from San Diego to Tokyo. He's an inventor, entrepreneur, and a patriot, and tonight he's here to tell us more about his vision for a modern and peaceful Jamaica.
Good evening, Mr. Donahue.
Good evening, Cliff. Thank you for having me here again.
Well, you were here sometime last year, yeah?
Yes, I was, yes.
Working on your vision. First of all, introduce yourself to Jamaicans again, and what is this vision you are proposing?
Yes, so my name is Andrew Donahue, and a returning resident. Like they said, I did a lot of time in the military. And I've always had Jamaica in my mind, no matter where I went, whether it was Japan or just the U.S. I always wanted to come back and bring back everything that I've learned to make this country kind of like similar to Japan, similar to Singapore, similar to other nations that I've seen. And I've just been chronicling the ideas that I've had and seeing how I could modify it and kind of like make it fit Jamaica. And yeah, we've been working this for 2 years. We came here with a bold vision initially. And we took a path where we wanted to start a third party, and that's where the KRV came from. But after speaking to a number of people, they told us that it might be better to take a neutral route and work with both the PNP or the JLP. So we've been working kind of like, moving in silence kind of thing. And we came up with a bold vision that will honestly, it's practical, it is solid, that would truly make Jamaica a first world country in a very short time. It would make us a peaceful country in a very short time. and it will make us a wealthy country. And it's by design. Like, we wanted this to happen now, not 20 years from now, not 10 years from now, but now.
I mean, many Jamaicans would look at that to be almost a pipe dream. So what anchors that vision? What is at the core of it?
Yeah, so the vision, just to describe it to the Jamaican people, the easiest way to remember it is the numbers 3, 4, 5. Three goals that we have, which is a first world Jamaica, a peaceful Jamaica, and a wealthy Jamaica. The 4 is that we've designed 4 systems that will guarantee these 3 things. And the 4 systems are, number 1, a new system of governance, which it's essentially decentralizes the government and pushes responsibility and authority and funding to the parishes like never before. Second thing is we're going to introduce a new social credit system that's designed to solve our problems with our moral decay, our crime problem, and also it basically redefines what it means to be Jamaican. The third thing is that we're going to have an economic system that's built on the parishes, where the parishes can own, operate, trade, and lend. They can own hotels, they can own amusement parks, they can own a number of different businesses and operate like corporations. The fourth thing is that we'll have new cities that will be built from scratch. So it's a 4-part process. And the 5 in the 3, 4, 5 is that it will require 5 constitutional amendments in order for these to happen.
Explain, because I hear you talking about the 14 parishes operating like corporations. How would that work?
So essentially, well, we have 15 now because we've included Portmore.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, the entire system is built on the 40-40 system framework, which we'll be able to discuss and explain more in detail. But essentially, we divide the classes of the parishes. We divide the parishes into 2 classes, Class A and Class B. The bigger ones are Class A, smaller ones are Class B. Then we will have a...
And by size, you're talking geography or economics? What?
So this is based upon population or demand, how many resources they will need. So Class A parishes, there will be 5. That's Kingston, St. Andrew, St. James, St. Catherine, and Portmore. All the rest will be considered Class B. We will allocate 40% of a dedicated budget to Class A parishes. That will be divided equally among them. And then another 40% to Class B. Well, these would go to a further 10 departments in each parish. And then in these 10 departments, there are 3 that's dedicated towards the parishes operating their own industries, operating their own enterprises, operating their own franchises. So it's all built into the system.
That sounds convoluted with the greatest of respect. Yes? Corporations, their own systems. Who elects them?
What part is convoluted? I can explain it for you.
The Class A, Class B, how you decide who gets into Class A versus Class B. What is the structure, yes, that you're going to have in terms of governance? Yeah, what is it?
Right, so all that, so we have a presentation that will be held this Thursday at the Mona School of Business. And it will go into detail because this thing is a big change for Jamaica, but it's well thought out. We actually have a 300-page manual that governs the entire system.
So you're not going to have a unitary state?
The system is designed to be decentralized. However, the accountability chain of command goes to the office of the Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister will still be overall in charge. But
he will have 15 parishes reporting to him.
Correct.
And who leads each parish?
So the entire system that we've developed will run, it's kind of like a combination of the old system and the new system. So the best way to look at it is like our current system is a small single-engine Cessna plane. That's very, very small, can only go so high and go so far, can only carry so many people. What we've designed is a much bigger plane, much bigger jet, a 747, and has 4 powerful engines that would allow us to compete with the best of the best in the world, like Singapore and so forth.
What are those engines?
Well, the 4 systems. I just explained them, the new governance system and everything. However, so it's not like we're getting rid of we're expanding. That's the main point I want to get here.
But hold on, Mr. Andrew.
Yeah.
Donahue. So you have, let us begin with a Class A parish, St. James. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, who leads St. James?
Right. I was going to explain the entire thing. So there's a corporate structure, like I said, and it starts at the department level. So there are 10 departments for each parish, and the leader of that department is called an executive director. Above that executive director is a parish executive officer called a PXO. Above that PXO is a regional leader called the chief governor, and then above the chief governor is a prime minister. So it's an entirely new chain of command.
So before we get to that, at what level does the elected representative come into play?
So these are not, so this new branch, they're not elected. This is based on meritocracy. So,
and how would that system be allocated in terms of, you say it's based on meritocracy.
Correct.
So who elects these members to essentially oversee the parishes? Or selects, rather, I should say.
Okay. Yeah, so they would not be elected. So it's essentially going to be led. It would be better if I explained the entire system completely, because you're asking questions from like multiple angles. So
no, but come on, Mr. Donahue. You come to a program like this. You know we're going to interrogate you.
Right.
Tell us. Yes? Parish. Class A, Class B. Yes? You speak of meritocracy.
Correct.
Yeah?
Correct.
What are the criteria for meritocracy under your system? What?
Right. So, okay. The entire system is called, let me start from the top. The entire system is called the 40-40 system. It requires an allocation of $200 billion from the national budget to be allocated to the system that will come from the discretionary allotment. And this $200 billion is going to further be distributed to the parishes in the amount I told you earlier, 40% to Class B, 40% to Class A.
Where are you getting the $200 billion from?
That will come from the discretionary allotment.
Yeah, but where?
So the money...
Where's that money? Where are you going to get that money? 200 billion Jamaican dollars.
Right. So, by definition, and I want you to listen to what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
The discretionary allotment, do you know how we get to that number?
No, you tell me.
Okay. So from the entire budget, it is broken up where the government is mandated to take care of certain things first. So the first thing they have to take care of are going to be your debts, right? So that has to be paid. So the total budget, let's say it's 1.4 trillion, right? The first thing they have to do,
expenditure, yes.
Right. Then next, they have to pay their wages. You got to pay the teachers, the doctors, and everything else. The discretionary allotment is what's left for whosoever is in power to basically run the rest of the government, which I think last time was at 360, the year before was at 365. What we are saying is everything that the country does happens in the parishes anyway, right? You're not going to do anything that doesn't happen in the parish. You're building roads in the parishes and everything and so on. What we're saying is have a structure in which you give more power, more authority, and more funding to the parishes and make them decide how to spend this money. That's what the system is designed to do. But instead of having political representatives deciding how this money is spent, you have people who are experts in their fields. So for example, I give you the first 5 departments that we have. Education. The head of education, you will still have the Minister of Education for the national level, but every parish will have someone overseeing education. Healthcare, the same thing. But these will not be elected people who don't have any credentials for education.
So under this system, where does the member of parliament fall? Or is it that we would no longer have members of parliament?
Members are, so you remember when I gave you the analogy of the 2 planes? We're not getting rid of the members of parliament. We're not getting rid of your local, let me give you a perfect example. What is the difference between the police and the army?
One is a military organization, one is a civilian.
Right, but what is the difference in responsibility?
One is dedicated solely to maintaining law and order. The other one is more detailed towards order.
Okay. I would say one is more focused on local issues, one is more national. Every once in a while, the local issue gets so big that the police have to get involved. So in other words, not because you have an army, it doesn't mean that you don't need the police. And not because you have the police, doesn't mean you don't need the army. So it's the same case here. Not because we're doing things in a parish, it doesn't mean that we don't need the MPs. So the MPs will still do, because what we're doing is not what they're doing. And that's why I said, that's why I said.
But I suppose that's why I'm struggling with this a little bit.
You seem to be proposing a system that is unduly bureaucratic for an island of just under 3 million people.
Sounds very unwieldy.
Very unwieldy, very cumbersome, and frankly, waste of resources.
Well, okay. Do you understand the entire structure?
No, I don't.
And that's why. You have to understand the entire structure, because once you understand it, you realize that this is the best thing for Jamaica.
Well, you can't tell me. You're not doing a very good job of telling me now, Mr. Donna. You need to be convincing. You need to convince me. What is it you're proposing? Yeah?
Right.
Who you are proposing? How will they get into office? Yeah? What will be the reporting relationship? Yeah? Where do the people come in all of this? Yeah? I'm not getting that.
Yes, because you haven't given an opportunity to explain it.
Oh, yes, I've been.
No, this cannot happen in 10 minutes. There's no way possible.
No, we've been going at it for more than 10 minutes.
Right,
actually.
but I'm answering your question. So the entire thing has a 300-page manual, like I said. There's no possible way I'm going to explain it in 10 minutes.
A 300-page
300-page.
And that tells me that there are problems there. A system that you are for an island of our size, for 300 pages, that is unduly, unwieldy, very bureaucratic, Mr. Donahue.
So I disagree, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Make it simple now. Keep it simple now.
It's very simple. It's very simple.
Okay, go ahead. Let me give you a go ahead. Start from scratch again. You're saying you're going to turn upside down what we now have after 63 years. Yeah?
Right.
You're going to create a peaceful, wealthy nation in a very short time.
Very short time.
What is that? How long is that?
10 years.
10 years. Yeah? So take them step by step for me. Yeah, start again.
Okay. So when you said 300 pages is cumbersome, it's not cumbersome, and I'll tell you why.
No, forget the 300
pages. It's very...
just start with the step 1, step 2, what you're going to propose, how you're going to do it. Start again.
How much time do you have for this interview?
Go on. We have up until 8 o'clock.
What time? Okay. Step 1. Funding. Right? We have to allocate $200 billion worth of funding to this system. Step 2, we have to...
From?
So the discretionary allotment, by definition, it is at the discretion of the ruling party. So it's not mandated by law how that money is spent. But what I'm trying to say is that money is spent to the parishes anyway. Does that make sense? We're not spending money in Cuba. We're not spending money in Brazil.
Is that wholly accurate, though? Because as my understanding of the discretionary allotment is, it's used for things like the HOPE program, the new social housing program, other projects that the ruling authority, as you rightfully say, feels is in the best interest of the country.
Correct.
And as a result of suggesting that you're going to take 200 from that 300 or so $1 billion, you're suggesting you're taking away from some of those programs.
So again, this is why I'm saying you have to allow me to explain. You cannot cut me off and make a comment, because the 10 departments, those programs will fall under the 10 departments. You have to give me a chance to explain. You can't sabotage me from you want me to explain, but you cut me off. So the programs that you're talking about will fall under the... I haven't even listed the 10 departments yet. Does that make sense?
Go ahead. We're listening.
No. I'm just saying.
No, we're listening. You said you don't want us to cut you off, so go ahead.
Right. So to start over again, the money that is the discretionary allotment is being spent in Jamaica. Do we agree on that?
Yes.
Is it being spent in Cuba?
Obviously, no.
Right. So it's been spent on the parishes anyway. What we're saying is, under this system, we're going to have a better way of structuring the government, organizing the government, and actually executing the government. And we're doing this in a way that is more of a corporate structure than a political structure. Is that clear so far?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So what we're saying is, the national government will still do what it needs to do, but it will keep the remaining 160. We'll use $200 billion. And what we're going to do now is take this $200 billion and divide it in a way that's equitable for the parishes. That way you don't have some parishes that are left behind, not developed, or they're just waiting for election for them to get their resources.
So it's $200 billion for all 14 parishes.
All 15, yes. If you
all
include
15 parishes.
Yes.
So Class A parishes will get how much of the 200 billion?
They'll get 40%.
40%.
Yes. And Class B will get 40%.
And the remaining 20% will go?
The remaining 20% will go towards new development for the new cities that we have planned and new products that we have planned, because we have to invest in the future. We can't just constantly just ignore the future. We have to invest in development.
So these allocations to the parishes
Correct.
will be for the sole purpose use as directed by the parish leaders.
So this is where you have to understand the structure of the entire system. Every parish has 10 departments that the money is further allocated to. So once the money goes to the parishes, there are 10 departments, and the funding rules and requirements are as follows. No department can be funded less than 5%, a minimum of 5%, and maximum is 15%. So here are the departments. Department number 1 is education. Department number 2 is healthcare. Department number 3 is public safety and security. Department number 4 is infrastructure, transportation, and environment. Department number 5 is youth development, sports, and innovation. Department number 6 is where we have this social credit system. It's also called the social welfare and development. Department number 7 is going to be for business development and finance. Department number 8 would be for industry and manufacturing. Department number 9 would be for real estate and housing. Department number 10 is the labor department, where these people are designed to be a full, committed, dedicated labor force for the entire system.
And this system will be on top of the already existing local authorities, such as the municipal corporations, and they act independently of that structure.
The police and the soldier. You remember that analogy?
Yes, but
I'll give you a third one.
Day, both of those report to the Prime Minister in some degree.
Correct. Same here. It's perfect. They both report to the Prime Minister.
So what you're describing essentially is a federalized system, similar to what's in the United States.
Very similar, but different, and here's why. They're not allowed to make their own laws. In the U.S., they are. They're not allowed to say, you're not going to have a set of laws in Manchester and then St. Elizabeth, different laws. So they're just controlling their budgets, and they're controlling their own economies. So it's and also their local issues. Now, let me tell you where you brought up a good point about the local government. The analogy of the police and the soldier is also very good. But there's a third one. What's the difference between a police and a security guard?
I mean, fundamentally, the difference is one is
no.
employed
You
by the
answer
state.
that, Andrew. You answer that.
No. It's very. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude here. I mean, we're having a conversation. Because I don't want to tell you everything. What's the difference between a police?
But isn't it your duty to tell us everything?
Okay.
You're trying to explain the system to the Jamaican people.
I'll tell you the difference. So a security guard normally has lower authority, lower responsibility than the police, right? But you still need a security guard, although you have a police. So my point is, when you talk about councillors, we still need them. MPs, we still need them. But the level of authority that they have is a lot lower than what we are presenting. So we're not necessarily replacing them. We still need them. We're making a government that's bigger and more efficient.
But I see the bigger, but I don't see where this is necessarily more efficient, because it seems like you're creating a scenario where you have a lot of chefs in the kitchen.
Right. So let's explain a lot of chefs in the kitchen. So would you agree, true or false, and let's have an honest dialogue here. Would you agree that a lot of parishes are neglected? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. What do you say?
As in neglected outright entirely, I don't believe so.
Okay, if I go to St. Elizabeth today and I go to many of the roads or many of the schools, are they different from they were 10, 20 years ago? Yes or no? Be honest.
Yes.
They're different. The answer is no, they're not. No.
Not true.
I don't have the geographic knowledge that Mr. Hughes has, so I will.
All right, well, let's look at Jamaica College. Does Jamaica College look like it is well kept or neglected?
Fairly well kept.
Yes.
Okay. I will double check that. I will require you to go again. What you'll see.
But hold on. hold on. And this is where we have to challenge you. Yeah? When you look at a school 10 years ago versus today,
right,
it's not just a physical plant you're looking at. It's more than that. It's what's taking place between those walls. Are we producing better children, more educated, more prepared children for the world of today?
Correct. But we're talking about infrastructure, the physical place, not that portion. The physical infrastructure of this country. Physical infrastructure. And I want you to be honest here, Cliff. Let's be honest here. If I land at the airport, and I want you to be honest, I land at the airport and I drive from the airport to downtown, and I made that same drive 20 years ago, right? What would I see different? And be honest.
No, I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay, let me hear it.
I'm going to be honest with you. Over the last 10, 15 years, physical infrastructure in this country has improved significantly.
Okay.
Let's use the example you use. You land at Norman Manley.
Right.
And you drive along Norman Manley. You drive along the Palisados Road.
Right.
You go to the roundabout at Harborview.
Correct.
All the way into downtown Kingston.
Yes.
First of all, the roads are better. Okay. Physically.
Okay.
The coastline is better protected. The Palisados strip. It's ugly, yeah, with those boulders, but that piece of spit, we call it in geography, is better secured against events, extraordinary weather events like hurricanes. Yeah, okay. That's a fact. You drive right across this country. If you left this country 10 years ago and just come back once, you will not recognize the skyline of Jamaica. You'll not recognize several roads that you left 10 years ago. Don't do that.
Okay,
this country has improved in terms of its infrastructure.
Let me clarify. Let me also respectfully disagree.
Yes.
100%. The highways in Jamaica, I think, are amazing. I think that what Andrew Holness has done is amazing. And I give him 100% marks on those. So let me just clarify that. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you were to drive on that same road that we just described, and you did it 10, 20 years ago, you look at the communities, you look at the people, the conditions that they're living in. The people matters more to me than anything else. The community, the neighborhoods, and the roads. I really would like you to take another drive on that road. Yes, the Palisados is good, but the road conditions, because the reason why I know this road is because I went to Kingston College. I'm very familiar with that area. For the majority of it, it's the same. The roads are not great. I'm sorry, I disagree, they're not. The people, communities are not great. The people are neglected. The people in this country are neglected. You're not going to tell me that they're not. The schools are neglected. The teachers are neglected. The hospitals are neglected.
Not true.
100% true, Cliff.
Not true.
100% true.
Not true.
Have you spoken to teachers?
Can we do more?
We have to do more.
We
should do more.
But don't say that they have been neglected.
Okay, what is the definition of neglect?
Well, where
unattended.
You give precisely. Huh? Unattended, yeah, no resources, yeah, no improvement. No, that's not true.
Okay, so you're telling me that. Let me give you a scenario, because the reason why I'm saying this is because, well, Cliff, listen, I want you to bring some teachers on here. You know what? Let's have some serious talk here. Let's bring some teachers on and ask them, do you feel like you're neglected in terms of your support for the physical space that you occupy? Are you too hot in your classroom sweating? Hold on, because we are going to have some real talk. And I like this challenge, I really do, right? Because this is how you come to real solutions. I didn't just come here, but I literally have been walking around this country talking to principals. You want to know what's going on in schools? Talk to principals, talk to teachers, right? And I don't know why you're looking at me this way, because you think that I'm not telling the truth? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I cannot challenge your experience or your perception, but my question is, when you, in talking to these principals and talking to these teachers, are they suggesting that their situation has not improved, or are they suggesting that their situation could be better?
What would it take to take a single classroom, one classroom, where it has adequate ventilation, adequate lighting, digitized, meaning that it has access to the internet, it has a projector or even a TV screen, and brand new benches? How much money do you think it would take to make one classroom be like that? Just give me a rough estimate. A classroom
I'm
of
not
30.
a contractor. I wouldn't
Right,
be able
but
to
just
answer that
give me a
question.
number. Just give me a number.
I think it would do quite a bit of remiss for me to even give you a number because, as I said, I'm not a contractor.
Okay.
I don't know
I'll
the
tell you.
physical cost it would go into developing a classroom.
Okay, I will tell you. Our classrooms today, for the most part, are the same as they were 20 years ago. Right? Many cases they were. Well, hold on.
I can't answer this question because I have not stepped into a classroom
Obviously.
in 20 years.
So why? Okay.
So
thank
that question
you.
is beyond my ability to answer.
Okay. Well, thank you for being honest to saying that you have not stepped into a classroom for 20 years. Because if you did today, you realize that there are schools that literally don't have enough benches for kids. They literally, the kids show up and then wait. The bench itself is missing a desk or is broken. Right? The windows
Mr. Donahue.
the window are.
Mr. Donahue.
One last point.
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Donahue.
Go ahead.
Yeah? Our education system has improved. Are there schools that have not shown the required level of improvement in terms of physical infrastructure of the classroom, lighting, ventilation? There are some of those. And there are others that have improved. Our education system, sir, is characterized by fertile areas, some schools that are, you can call them deserts. As one of our politicians said, we have an apartheid education system.
Okay.
Yeah? Inconsistencies. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not accurate to come here and to tell us that we have not improved the education system, full stop.
Did not say that.
Yes, you did.
I said neglect.
And neglect what?
Correct.
I also asked you
I
what
did ask
you
you,
mean by that comment. Are you suggesting that there's been no improvement or that there could be further improvement?
Neglect was my word. My word was, I asked you, are all the parishes, so my system prevents that. That's the whole point of this conversation.
How?
Now we're talking. So in the current system, you said it perfectly. You said there's some places that are deserts. You know what desert means? It means that you are dry, you have nothing. Some that are fertile. You know what fertile means? You have everything that you need. So you literally described the problem I'm telling you about. My system makes every school fertile, zero deserts.
How?
The funding is equally distributed to the parishes. Every parish has an education department. And every education department has a executive director whose job is not to monitor and look at reports and send reports up. It's to set benchmarks and goals to make sure that every single school in that parish becomes a world-class school in physical infrastructure, in curriculum, in attendance, in performance. And if he does not meet that goal, he is fired. He's not sitting in office for 5-10 years. He's fired. Every department, the leaders have to produce or they get fired. It is a no-nonsense system. We're not here to hear
Mr.
about...
Donahue.
Go ahead.
Funding, a world-class system, an ideal that we should try to reach. But where are you going to get the requisite financing from?
Perfect.
To make every school.
That's why I asked him that scenario earlier. How much does it take to take one classroom?
Sir,
the answer is this. The answer is this.
No. Hold on. The art of governing in a country such as ours is how do you allocate scarce resources?
Okay.
The allocation of scarce resources. We are not sitting, on a bank account, a bank balance, that the easiest part of the decision making is to say, okay, Manchester schools, you require 10 billion. Kingston schools, 25 billion. And here it is. Draw a check for you. No.
And
that is utopia.
Well, let me clarify, because I don't want you to mischaracterize what I'm saying. The social credit system that we have, it's a very powerful system. Here's how this social
you're
credit
proposing.
Right. It's a very powerful system. Here is one part that it solves the gap. Because what we have is Jamaica has a lot of haves and have-nots.
Yes.
And the haves, I'm speaking for the haves when I say this, they want to help. They want to make a difference. They want to contribute. But there's no mechanism in place for them to do it consistently and effectively and efficiently. We solved that problem with the social credit system. So when I told you about how much it took to make that class, it was to say that, listen, we can have these corporations, these hotels, sponsor a school. We don't have to fund everything from the national budget. We can have the diaspora. Well, hold on. Because we're not using all our connections. We're not using all our networks. We're not using all our resources. We're taxing poor people to death and think that is the only way to do it. It is not. We have to think outside the box. If you ask me as someone in the diaspora to send Kingston College some projectors, I'm going to send it. If you ask me to send a TV to Kingston College, I'm going to send it. If you have this thing structured in a way that people know what you're doing and you ask for the right things, it can be done. You don't need to be rich to have a first world classroom. You just need to be intelligent. You just need to have a system and a structure where the haves can help the have-nots. There are a lot of people who want to help. The government should not be the only source of funding. That's what this system does.
But you have not explained how that system actually accomplishes that, because what you've limited your vision to is what you call the discretionary spending, a 40-40 split in terms of the government's budget.
So you like to attack the same points over and over again. And I like to repeat my same points over and over again.
No, but you just said that you're creating a system where the haves can better support the have-nots. All right. So I'm asking you, though, how do you now relate that to a system that you created where you said you're going to take the discretionary aspect of the budget, reallocate whatever you need to reallocate, $200 billion. We are now working with a sum of $200 billion.
No, we're not. And that's why I needed to explain this. The social credit system has 3 parts to it. All right? Actually, it's multifaceted. There's a part where individuals do acts that are positive and good and we reward those acts. Then there are companies, corporations who do good things, like sponsoring schools, like sponsoring clinics, sponsoring hospitals. So if we need 100 beds, how about Hotel Sandals buy 100 beds? If we need to go sponsor, some MRI machines, how about, one of the hotels go buy the MRI machines? That's how it works. But
so your system is going to depend on the goodwill and generosity of corporate Jamaica.
No, it does not. And this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to explain the system. You guys keep interjecting with negative opinions. All right? The third part is the diaspora. So there are 3 groups. In other words, you don't have to do everything yourself as the government. It's not required. You have multi-billion corporations running hotels and not doing anything for these schools. So hold on. You have multi-billion corporations who want to help. It's not like they don't want to help. How much do you think a 50-inch TV costs today? It's $250. You think a hotel stay is $400 per night. If you have the system that said, hey, listen, we're going to redo 100 classes, and in every class we'll need to have a projector, right?
Sir,
go ahead.
We're out of time.
We're out of time. But great conversation, and I really appreciate this, by the way.
And let me tell the listeners, yes, Andrew Donahue is a Jamaican, means well, wanting to start a movement here in Jamaica. And he actually bought the airtime this evening, for this discussion. Yes, because he wants to spread his mission, his vision. Yeah, he wants to, right? I see on our YouTube chat, people are asking, please spare us. What is he doing? I may alone feel bad. What has he done for his school since him leave? What rubbish, narcissist, passionate about education, But I wish you well.
Thank you, Cliff. Can I say one thing to the people in the chat? Is that okay? You would not be negative.
Sure.
Because every time I come here, they're always negative. I'm not sure why. But we have to have tough conversations in Jamaica. And we have to have honest conversations in Jamaica.
Sure.
Right? And that's what I will always do. The idea that I have is rooted. I'm a military guy. Military means that you focus on results, not fairy tale nonsense. Everything I'm telling you.
That's why military people don't make good democratic leaders.
Say again?
Which is
why military people don't make good democratic
you know what?
leaders.
The expectation that everyone will conform to your vision is very much an expectation that will not meet reality.
No, it's not. Hold on. Let me finish my thought. The military part was not about oppression, or I'm not sure why you guys think that. My point is this. It's practical. It's pragmatic. It's not like fantasy and a dream. So for the people in the chat who are always negative, my challenge to you is this. What kind of Jamaica would we have if we started to have serious conversations, honest conversation, and then come up with better ways, outside the box thinking, outside the box solutions, and we do it department by department, right? What kind of Jamaica would we have? Because essentially that's what we need to do, right? But I'm not presenting anything that doesn't make any sense.
What's the next step? What's the next step?
Next step, step by step. Step by step. But this right here is very good because I like these conversations.
Yeah.
So for me, like I said, and I appreciate you as well. So don't think for a second that this was a bad experience. It was a good experience for me.
Very well.
And the chat too. So, but the tough conversations need to be had. That's what I like.
Do you have a team around you? Or this is
I do. I do have a team. However, one thing I've noticed in Jamaica is that politics is like radioactive. People want nothing to do with it, especially the ones at the very top, especially the ones in the PSOJ. They want to have, because if you choose the wrong side, you choose the wrong side. You know what I'm saying? So there are people who I've been working quietly, and I'm coming out now for Jamaican people. But I want to make this abundantly clear. This is my last point. Sorry, last
No,
point.
you have 15 seconds, right?
Okay.
Over.
The younger generation deserves better. The younger generation deserves attention. We need to worry about the future of Jamaica, not our own individual interests. And we are doing them a disservice. And I'm here to fix that. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. That's where we're going to leave it. Thanks to our producer, Sonia Stewart. Of course, our technical operator, Andrew Books Anderson. The members of the production team, led by our editor, Cara Powell. And of course, our YouTube community. Thank you so much. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.